Testing weapons from Amazon. Two weapons in particular is this. Cold Steel Warhammer. Giant, very thick spike on the back of it. And this second one, this is called a Gun Stock War Club. It has this added little feature here, this giant spike. Slice something, pierce something, and then you can flip this thing around and then use this end to hit somebody with it. That was a lot more than I expected. Would you stand a chance against either one of these weapons? Alright guys, so today we're going to be testing weapons from Amazon. Now, my original plan for this video was I was going to get like 5 or 6 different weapons and then compare them all together, but I think that would have just been too much. So I found 2 weapons in particular that interested me the most from Amazon, and we're just going to test those, and then if you guys like this, then we'll do some more. The first one is this. I'm really excited about this one. This is the Cold Steel Warhammer, and obviously, as you can tell, why it's called a Warhammer. It's got like, I don't know how long the handle is, probably maybe 36 inches. Is 36 inches a yard? Something, I think it's about a yard long. Obviously a very, not even just a regular hammerhead, just like an extremely aggressive looking hammerhead. Then it has this giant, very thick spike on the back of it that kind of reminds me of, if any of you guys know what a picaroon is. I don't even know what you would call a picaroon, just like a piece of woodworking equipment that like someone, if you're like splitting logs, someone would carry it and like stab it down into a log and use it to pick it up. Kind of reminds me of that, or just like a miniature pickaxe. So I'm sure we can do lots of damage with that. And this second one really caught my attention just because of how crazy it looks. This is also made by Cold Steel. This is called a Gun Stock War Club. And it's obviously, it looks like a gun stock, like an old, what is it? Like an old like musket or something from like World War II. But on this, it has this added little feature here, this giant spike that you could use to like slice something, pierce something, and then you could flip this thing around and then use this end to hit somebody with it. I mean, this thing's gonna do a lot of damage, and I'm really excited to test it. The main thing that I want to test, obviously, this whole thing is made out of polymer. I know this thing's not gonna break, and I'm sure you could probably take this end and just smash things all day long, no problems. This spike, you can see it's not, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's not like super thick, but it is made of the same polymer. And in the videos that Cold Steel made, they do have like a giant target, and they show them throwing this thing, and then it, of course, tumbling through the air and sticking just on the spike. I'm assuming that this spike is probably pretty durable, but I'm sure we will have tons of fun with this. Alright, now before we get started, we need to talk about wallets. This video is sponsored by Ridge Wallet. You're probably carrying a wallet around that looks like this. Big, it's bulky, it's old, it's outdated. Here is the Ridge Wallet. You can see the difference here. The Ridge Wallet is pretty much the exact same size as your standard credit card, and you can see this wallet is big and bulky, all these slots and openings, and it's very prone to collecting garbage like change and receipts and just a bunch of stuff you don't need. Whereas the Ridge Wallet is small and sleek, and it's also extremely durable. It holds 12 credit cards, and it has a money clip on the back for cash. It comes in over 30 different styles. It also has 30,000 5-star reviews. It has a lifetime warranty, so you can buy this one wallet and carry it for life. You can buy one and you can test drive it for 45 days. And if you don't like it, then you can get a full refund. Oh, and credit cards are way easier to get to. They just slide right here in the middle, so you can push them out, pull out your credit card, use it, put it back in, no problem. This wallet is just way better than just your regular traditional wallet. You can take this wallet and throw it away. If you're interested in one of these wallets, you can click the link in my description, or you can go to ridge.com/TylerTube and use code TylerTube, and you get 10% off of your order. So let's go ahead and start testing these things. But first, I guess just kind of as a control, we should probably use Ballistic gel, just so we can kind of get an idea. We all know that this stuff is going to go right through the Ballistic gel, but we'll do it anyway. Alright, so I guess first, let's just go with the Warhammer. It's, I mean, as sharp as this thing is, I'm just gonna let it kind of just fall. Oh, did that not even penetrate that? Maybe I overestimated how sharp it is. That definitely went through, didn't it? Yeah, that one went through. That one hit the tray. Obviously, hit the tray. No surprise there. I do want to just hit it from the side real hard. Let's see what happens. Try to pick a spot that's not been messed with. Oh yeah. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Now let's try this. I'm sure this will go right through to the tray. Oh, maybe not. I don't think it will, because the stuff where it'll go through, but then the stock stops it. I'm gonna try to like slice it, kind of like that. See if it'll like slice a big cut open in the ballistic gel. I mean, kind of. Not really that deep though. Not what I expected. Oh, I did it again. So it does open up. So it does open up pretty decent cuts just from stabbing, but I mean, obviously it's not a knife, so it's not gonna like slice it real far. I mean, I guess it could, even if you hold it down and kind of slice it like that, it can cut open a little bit. But it's mainly made for impact, so let's do some impact tests. All right, so what we have here is we have a 3/4 piece of plywood, and we're just gonna see if each one of these things can pierce through 3/4 of plywood. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess and assume that the Warhammer will have absolutely no problem going through. Don't know so much about this. The spike is obviously long enough to go through. I just don't know if it's durable enough to go through. We'll see. I also kind of want to see like how little effort it takes to go through. So I'm just gonna kind of not swing like as hard as I can, just kind of like a medium swing. Oh yeah, that went through. And that was not very hard at all. Okay, that was way easier than I thought it would be. So I'm gonna go up here. Swing, I'm gonna swing pretty hard on this one. Oh yeah. Straight through, as you would expect. I mean, it's basically just a solid steel spike. Come on. Now for this. Let's see if this goes through. Let's see. Okay. It didn't stick. Did that go through? Huh. That did go through. It didn't stick. It barely went through, but it did go through. Huh. And the spike doesn't look any worse for wear at all. It just has a little mark on it. Tip's not dull. Kind of surprising, especially for being polymer. Let's try that again. Let's swing a little bit harder. Oh, that time. Oh yeah. That went through pretty good. And the spike still looks to be completely unaffected. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't really think that it was going to make it through the 3/4 piece of plywood. I thought for sure that hitting something this solid, that this spike would at least bend, break, do something since it's this polymer. I'm going to do that again. That won't hurt that. There we go again. Straight through, even deeper that time. This war club and this spike, these things do not play around. Let's move on. So yeah, they went through the plywood, but let's be honest, wood's pretty soft. What if the guy that you're trying to take out is wearing a hard hat? Can these things penetrate a hard hat? It should be harder to penetrate than plywood because this plastic is supposed to have a safety rating for, you know, things to fall on top of your head, maybe it'd be harder to penetrate through. We'll see. First up, the Warhammer. To be honest, I think this is going right through the top of the helmet, no problem. Oh yeah, you got this helmet on and you get attacked by a Warhammer, your day's done. You've had a really bad day. And that wasn't even swinging all that hard. Oh yeah. They can go through a hard hat, no problem. Okay, so don't wear a hard hat to protect yourself from a Warhammer. Now I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say that this is probably gonna go right through there too. Ooh, that would be even worse because the blade is so wide. Okay, so a hard hat, that offers you no protection. Alright, let's take it a step further. Let's say you or the person you're attacking is wearing a DOT certified? Is that the right word? Certified? Yeah, DOT certified. It's much thicker, probably an inch or so thick. The top is, I'm assuming, some type of metal, and there's probably some type of foam or something underneath of it. So it should be harder to penetrate, although I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. So let's see. I don't know how well you can see it, but it did not penetrate the fabric. It went through the helmet, and if your head was in there, it's gonna hurt. But I don't think that it would have hurt. I don't think it would have cut you. So, and it does look like it's some type of a metal. And then deep inside of it, I can see that there's styrofoam in there. I also didn't swing as hard as I could, so I'm gonna swing way harder. See what happens. I'm sure it'll probably go through. 3, 2. Yeah, you're dead. It still didn't penetrate the fabric, and I just realized this. It probably didn't penetrate the fabric on the first time either, because there's nothing in it holding it against there, and the fabric just kind of just moved out of the way. So you probably would have been dead on the first one. I just now thought of that. On the second one. Oh yeah, you can see how far that spike went in there. You can see it's in there probably 2.5 inches or so. So you're dead. So a motorcycle helmet, it might protect you from a crash, but it is not gonna protect you from someone with a Warhammer. Now this might have a disadvantage because this spike is so much smaller, so it might not have enough length to get all the way through. But as always, we will see. See, you might not be dead, but you're gonna be hurting, and you are not gonna be having a very good day because it is probably an inch maybe in there. So that's not bad. Don't think it'll be much harder to get it all the way in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like it's just a little bit crooked. Maybe not. Flip this helmet this way. Hit it right here on the front of the helmet. See if we can get it all the way up to the stock. Gotta give it all I got. Ooh, yeah, that went all the way up to the stock. And it did go in at an angle, so you're probably not gonna be as dead, but you're probably still gonna die. The motorcycle helmet, just like the hard hat, isn't gonna offer you much protection. If you're fighting somebody that's got a war club or a, somebody's got a war club or a Warhammer. So let's move on to something a little bit different. All right, let's go back in time. What if you went back to the Gladiator times? Would you stand a chance against either one of these weapons? Ow. Hit me in the mouth. This thing, I don't like this thing. This thing is covered in oil and it smells bad and it's dirty. So could this helmet protect you if you, for whatever reason, you were wearing this for protection? Maybe you were in your backyard playing Gladiator or something. I don't think this thing stands a chance. I think the metal's pretty thick, but I don't think it's thick enough to stop either one of these things. So as always, the Warhammer will be first. I think this is just going to go straight through. No problems, despite all the little spikes and all that stuff. That might not have gone through. Oh no, it went through. I'm sure you can probably see there's a hole right there in the top, right where the Warhammer went through. This thing is not going to offer you much protection. I'm going to hit it again though, because I wasn't happy with that. I wanted it to like stick onto the hammer. That one is definitely way worse. That hole is way bigger. If you have a hole in your helmet that's that big, you're dead. You're not just a little bit dead. You're extremely dead. So this whole thing is just disgusting with oil. No question about it. This offers you less protection than even like the motorcycle helmet. Now let's move on to this. I think I'm gonna go like right there. Oh, first of all, chill out. The spike, still completely fine, virtually no damage. The helmet, on the other hand, you can see that big slice in the top of the helmet. That's even, in my opinion, that's even worse than the Warhammer. You're really dead with a Warhammer, and you are as dead as you can be with the War Club. So now let's move outside. See what kind of damage we can cause out there. Actually, I lied. We are not quite going outside yet. We've tested a lot of the like penetration power of both of these. Now it's time to test the smashing power of both of these. So they both obviously have ways that you can smash things. So we're going to smash this center block. Pretty much just for fun, because we all know that both of these are going to do a great job of smashing this center block. So, especially this hammer. Ow. I didn't like that at all. Really. Obviously this does a great job. Let's test the spike side. Huh, that's kind of dulling up the tip of the spike, as you would expect. The spike is tough. I mean, it's getting dulled a little bit, but it's not doing a whole lot to it. But obviously the hammer side does exactly what you would expect. The War Club. I think this is going to do exceptionally well. That hurt my hands a little bit. Oh wow, it actually tore up the plastic quite a bit. Still does a pretty good job, although it did tear it up quite a bit. Right here you can see the end where I hit that center block, and you can see just how much it kind of tore up the end, but it definitely chewed it up a little bit. But it is polymer, so you can't expect a whole lot out of it. All right, now to show the crushing power even more, or to show it better, I guess, we're going to use 2 coconuts. I think these are kind of a pretty good, what was that? I think these are a pretty good representation of like a head, or at least I think they're supposed to be. So we're going to give these a little smash, see what happens. But before we do that, just between you and me, I'm sure you can hear the water. Who do you think climbs up the trees and puts the water inside of these coconuts? I've always wondered that. All right, we're gonna go Warhammer first. I don't think this is gonna take very much. Actually, I think I'm gonna hit it this way, just to see how much it explodes. So, 3. Oh yeah, that coconut's gone. Yeah, that's damaged pretty good. So, if you were to get hit in the head with a Warhammer, that's probably what your head would end up looking like. So that's pretty intense. Now let's move on to the War Club. Actually, I want to hit this one with the spike. See what it does. was actually pretty smooth. Not quite as much damage. Ow. Something poked me. Redo that with the proper end of the Warhammer, or of the War Club. Results pretty much the same. As you can see, split the coconut in half, just like last time. Let's go on to something else. Alright, now it's time for our favorite thing to smash, watermelons. We don't need this anymore. Throw that off to the side. This is gonna go everywhere, I already know. And as always, we'll go with the Warhammer first. I'm gonna hit it with the spike side, because I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference on the effect, whether I hit it with the spike side or the hammer side. See how much damage this thing can do. I didn't want to be covered in watermelon. Well, I mean, you can see the damage that it did. Let's go again. Let's go this way. Oh, look at that. This thing does a lot of damage. All right, now it's time for the War Club. How about we do this first? Just a little, takes no effort at all. Slice up the water for this little spike. Alright, I'm just procrastinating because I don't want to get covered in watermelon. Alright. Oh. That one wasn't that bad. I didn't get coated in watermelon. That split right open. Just throw that to the side. Alright, let's do it with this end right here. Oh. Well, as you can see, and we already knew, both of these are extremely good at smashing things. So obviously, since I am highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat, I'm going to show you the most effective ways to use these tools on a person if you had to. So, my favorite, especially with the Warhammer, is to just put one right in the chest. Takes them out immediately, no problems. Just... that was a lot more than I expected. So, obviously, as you can tell, it'll just open up a giant hole in his chest. I thought that it would just like stick inside of his chest. I didn't know that it was gonna shatter him. Obviously very effective though. Now I'm gonna show you my favorite with the War Club. So what you're gonna do, we're not gonna use the spike, even though the spike is very effective. We're gonna be using this end because this is for whenever you're sneaking up behind somebody and you don't want them to run away. Sneak up behind them, and then once you get to about here, you take out their legs, because if they don't have legs, they can't run away. So let me show you what that looks like. He's not walking anywhere. And on top of that, his leg fell off. So he's not running, he's not walking. He's pretty much disabled. Once you knock their legs over, then you can take your spike and you can just take care of them. All right, I've got one more for you, and this one is just evil. I would not recommend doing this to anybody unless you had to. Again, you're gonna sneak up behind somebody with the Warhammer, with the spike end. You're gonna sneak up behind somebody, and then while they're just standing there, this is the motion you're gonna be doing, just like this. So they're not paying attention to you, they don't even know you're here, and you just sneak up behind them, and then, oh, they're done for. They're not, and then once they're down on the ground, then you can just, those are my favorite moves. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me test these two different weapons, and I'll see you in the next one.